All right, so our goal was to insist on a title for a new post. All right, so we have this create rule here that I think we can just add to. So we can say we have the request.resource, which is different than the resource. The resource.data.title would insist that the one in the database already had a title, which is silly. Like, that's not the concern of the new one coming in. But the request resource will be the one coming in. So we can say request.resource, let autocomplete help us here, .data.title, just one equal sign. Don't let the JavaScript developer in you get carried away. Now, if we go in, maybe that didn't go fast enough. We'll see. So the title does not equal no. All right.
I did it similarly, and I had the same issue. Is null within this kind of JavaScript syntax? Does that cover any falsy value?
It could be. I think you're right. It could just be
undefined
an empty string.
Okay. Or
let's find out. We're going to learn together. Let's see. Let's go ahead and delete some of these. All right, there we go. It was an empty string because input fields in the DOM are empty strings by default and not, in fact, null. So we sent an empty string through. So here we check to see. Out of pure curiosity, I am curious to see if the JavaScript rules apply. I'm off-roading right now, so we'll find out together what's going to happen here. That'll also work. This will get you any falsy value. We all learned something together today. Cool. So this will make sure that if this is a falsy value, it'll turn it to true, which will work. But yeah, so null didn't work in this case because it was an empty string. Cool. All right. So now we have the ability to authenticate a user. We have the ability to validate, based on that user, what's coming into our system and secure everything down. We did have this email authentication I want to talk a little bit about, just in case, because I think it's worth going into because it's not as simple as the Google one, right? Like we need to do a little more work, not much more work, but a little bit more work. But where I really want to take this after we get the email authentication set up is these users they're limited, right? They come with a photo URL, a UID, a display name, an email. I think we saw one or two other things, right? But that photo URL is the one we got from Google, right? So if the user wants to change their photo in our application, we don't support that currently. If we wanted to store additional data on the user, that is problematic. There is a thing in Firebase called custom claims. Custom claims can get run from anywhere where you have like the full admin access, so either from a node process or from a cloud function, where you can put about 1,000 bytes, so 1 kilobyte of additional data on a user object, right? But that's mostly it's super useful if you have multiple databases and you want to attach it to the user. But generally speaking, for one, it makes more sense to kind of have documents that serve as our user profile. Like if in this application we want to let the user have a bio, or we wanted to store the post that they favorited, or anything like other things that we wanted to put on there, right? We're going to need some place in our Cloud Firestore to store it. So a really great pattern for that is just to make documents that are based on that UID, right? Because UID will be consistent when the user logs in, and so now we can basically, every time they log in, we can match them up with that document that has all of their other profile information.